She paid for a stranger's coffee after his card was declined, never imagining that the man standing in front of her would change her life in ways she could never have predicted. It happened on a rainy morning in Seattle, inside a small cafe filled with the smell of roasted beans and wet umbrellas. The barista looked uncomfortable as the payment terminal flashed red, and the tall man in the expensive suit tried a second card with the same result. His voice stayed calm, but his eyes revealed the embarrassment he tried to hide. That man was Ethan Cole, one of the wealthiest tech CEOs on the West Coast. Though no one in the cafe seemed to recognize him, he had left home in a rush, wearing the wrong suit jacket and forgetting his wallet entirely. As he tried to keep his composure, a young woman standing nearby watched quietly, holding a cup of warm milk for her toddler. Her name was Maya Thompson, a single mother fighting through another exhausting morning. She saw the tension in Ethan's jaw, the frustration behind his polite smile, and before he could speak again, she stepped forward and tapped her phone on the reader. The machine beeped approvingly. Ethan stared at her, stunned, while she simply said that it was just coffee and everyone had days like this. She didn't wait for his reaction. She returned to her table, wiping her son's chin and calming his soft cries, as if the situation were nothing more than a small act of humanity. Ethan carried the cup outside, but the warmth in his hands was nothing compared to the warmth spreading through his chest. Kindness without expectations had become a rarity in his world. He found himself replaying the moment throughout the day, the quiet confidence in her voice, the softness in her smile, and the way she didn't recognize him, didn't care who he was, and didn't ask for anything in return. He went back to the cafe the next morning, hoping to find her, but she wasn't there. He returned the next day, and the next. Nearly a week passed before he saw her again, soaked from the rain, pushing a stroller that seemed almost too old to function. Her son's cheeks were flushed, and Maya looked deeply worried. When the stroller jammed at the entrance, Ethan stepped forward instinctively. She blinked in surprise when she recognized him, calling him the coffee guy. And for the first time in days she laughed. Inside, as the rain hammered against the windows, Ethan listened as Maya explained that her son had been coughing for 2 nights, that she had missed the bus, that work was giving her fewer hours, and that she wasn't sure how she would pay this month's bills. Despite everything, she spoke with a resilience that softened something inside him. She apologized repeatedly for venting, but Ethan told her she didn't need to. Her strength reminded him of something he had forgotten, what it meant to fight quietly, without applause, in a world that didn't notice. When her son began coughing again, Ethan insisted on driving them to urgent care. She hesitated until the child whimpered, and then she agreed. The doctor confirmed early pneumonia and prescribed medication Maya couldn't afford. Before she could protest, Ethan paid for everything, and for a moment she looked like she might collapse. Not from weakness, but from the sheer relief of not having to carry everything alone. She asked why he was doing this, and he answered truthfully. She had shown him kindness when he owed her nothing. He was simply returning what she gave. In the days that followed, they began seeing each other more. At first, by coincidence, then intentionally. Coffee turned into conversations, conversations into messages, messages into long nights on the phone. After Maya put her son to sleep, Ethan found himself looking forward to her voice, to the sincerity she had, to the way she spoke to him like he was human rather than untouchable. Everything changed one afternoon when a news broadcast played on the cafe television. Ethan's face appeared across the screen alongside the words Coltech CEO expands global project. Maya froze. She turned slowly toward him, realizing who he truly was. Her voice trembled as she said she had paid for a Millionaire's coffee while struggling to keep her electricity on. Ethan looked at her with gentle seriousness and told her that she hadn't helped a millionaire. She had helped a man having a bad day, a man who had forgotten what real kindness looked like. Every moment since then had been his way of thanking her. Her eyes filled with something deep and unspoken. And when her son reached for Ethan's sleeve, something shifted permanently between them. Ethan held the little boy carefully, gently, as if the child were something delicate and irreplaceable. Maya watched them, her heart aching in ways she had not allowed in a long time. In that moment, Ethan realized that the empire he built had never filled the quiet emptiness in his life. And Maya realized she was no longer standing alone in her struggle. The world outside kept moving, ordinary and unaware. While inside that small cafe, a new story was beginning, one born from a simple act of kindness and a cup of coffee, a story that neither of them had seen coming. but one that both of them desperately needed.